Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Train Sim World 5 video. Yes, I know it's Train Sim World 5. I know Steam players can play all of their compatible content on TSW6, but I did not pre-order Deluxe or Special Edition of TSW6, so I'm currently going to be playing on 5 until Tuesday next week. So, yeah, we're still in TSW5, and we are checking out, well, not checking out, we are revisiting the UK core route back from the TSW4 era. This is ECML, or East Coast Main Line, Peterborough to Doncaster, which, yeah, the reason I want to revisit this is because the Riviera Line route, which is the British core route for TSW6, gave us the Class 802 bi-mode IET. We actually already have an IET in TSW, which is this thing, the LNER Class 801 Azuma. We're in the Stroke 2 version, we're at Peterborough, and we're doing an all-stops run up to Doncaster. I should also mention I have ITSW5's, the sound mod that he made running, because for some reason the Class 801, I don't know about the Class 802, I hope they improved the sounds on that, but the Class 801 has a lot of reused Class 377 Electro Star sounds, which are completely unrealistic for an IET. So yeah, let's get started. So, master key, reverser, doors, and headlights to dimmed, desk illumination to high. Got this screen here, which doesn't really do anything. Let's give the GSMR on. So 1 November 83. Let's go and turn on all of the safeties. ETCS, that switch doesn't do anything. As far as I know, there's only one train in TSW which has working ETCS, and that is the what is it? Yeah, that is the RAB 523E from S-Bahn Central Schweiz, the Swiss standard gauge route by Rivet Games. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of 66s. I don't have Spratty Heath's Class 66 Megapack mod installed, sadly, so those are, yeah, because otherwise we would be able to see like Freightliner and GBRF stuff substituting in. So yeah, I'll go exterior cam, because this mod was actually recently updated and I wanted you to hear it. Yeah, pretty good sounds. Ooh, there's a 66 with some DB Schenker aggregates wagons off of Great Western Express. Neat. I should also mention that this Class 801, I actually haven't made a video driving the Class 801 since this train got updated with dynamic suspension over a year ago now. So yeah, this is like my first full run with the 801 with dynamic suspension enabled, which is pretty funny. Right, we are clear up to 110 miles an hour, and then we're going to be clear up to 125 once the train passes this sign. So yeah, we are pretty much clear up to line speed immediately. Also, I should mention that I have ridden on the Peterborough to Doncaster line in real life. It was when I was heading up to the National Railway Museum in York, so I think it was the end of July. Yeah, it was the end of July. I went from King's Cross up to York in a Grand Central Class 180. I think it was a service going up to Sunderland, if I'm not mistaken. And it basically went straight from King's Cross to York without stopping. I think it was the one named James Herriot. It was a massive treat to get to ride on a Class 180 because they're so rare. There's only 10 in service and only 14 were ever built. That, yeah, I had an absolute blast riding on it. As you can see, this route is still afflicted by a transparent trees bug that has never been fixed, and I believe cannot be fixed unless you mod the INI file on PC, which I don't dare to do, if I'm being honest, because, yeah. Alright, 95 miles an hour. This is the reason I don't really drive this route that much. You just start getting to, it's just high-speed running and nothing else, and it's a pretty boring section of the UK. And then, on the way back from the National Railway Museum, what was it? I'm trying to remember. There's another aggregates train. Another 66, I imagine, at the other end? Yeah. Oh boy. I think we're behind someone. Yeah. I'll start slowing down. We have, yeah, our stops today are Peterborough, Grantham, Newark Northgate, Retford, and Doncaster. So, yeah, as I was saying, on the way back from York to King's Cross, I actually rode on a LNER Class 800 after the Grand Central service I was supposed to be on that was, I think, a Class 221 got cancelled, so I had to rebook tickets, that put us on an LNER train. That train actually stopped at Doncaster, Newark Northgate, and Peterborough, and from what I was able to discern while going at 125 miles an hour most of the time, I don't know what the signals are doing. Sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's green. I do not know what's going on. Anyway, yeah, the scenery on this route is pretty spot on, I must say. Like, it's a reasonable representation of real life, but it's a bit bare bones. There's a transparent trees issue, and the rail scene on this route is completely unrealistic. We don't have an LNER Class 800, as we only have the Class 801 in TSW. You can mod in the Class 800 if you have the 5-circle timetable enhancement pack, but yeah, that just uses the 801 model. And unfortunately, we don't have any of the Grand Central stuff. We don't have a 220 or 221 or 180 from Grand Central. And we don't have an LNER Class 91 with, what is it? With Mark IVs and a DVT. I believe the Class 91 is one of the most requested trains in TSW history, probably behind the 220, so I expect they'll add the Class 91 at reasonably soon, but hey, that could just be me being facetious. Anyway, yeah, and then also the whole GBRF depot at Peterborough is completely unrealistic, because I believe that building just isn't there in-game, which is very annoying indeed. And then we don't have any of the GBRF stuff. We don't have a GBRF Class 66 or any of the other stock that they have. We don't even have a Class 99, which GBRF are just rolling out. Just started rolling out a couple of months ago at the time of recording this video. So, yeah. I really want to see a Class 99 in TSW. I was really hoping they would add a... Actually, correction. If we're getting a... Oh, goodness. A member of the... What? What on earth is up with the signaling? Did you see that? It just went from red to full green. What is going on with the signaling on this route? Anyway, where was I? Yeah, if we were getting like a modern Stadler-built electric freight locomotive in the UK, I wouldn't have a Class 99 flake. even though those things are pretty cool, I would prefer having a rail operations group class 93, because not only do those things look cooler in their rail operations group green instead of the GBRF blue, slightly cartoonish blue and yellow, but the Class 93 can also operate on battery power when not under overhead wires. So it is technically a tri-mode locomotive. So it has battery power, it has overhead power which recharges the battery, and then it also has a diesel engine for when the battery runs out. Which is just so cool. You don't really see battery electric trains running around much in real life. I believe the only battery electric train in a train simulator is in JR East Train Simulator. There is a local train up in Akita Prefecture which is like a battery powered test bed, and it's in JR East Train Sim. So yeah. That sounds a lot better than having the Electrostar sounds. If you're on PC, you basically have to have this mod if you don't want your... Yeah. I just really... The Class 801 sounds still haven't been fixed, even after many, many years. Well, technically 2 years of this route being available. Yeah. And I do not believe the Class 802 has any new sounds. I might be wrong there. But yeah. The early access is for TSW6 just dropped today for Deluxe and Special Edition owners, and also for the full release for the Ambassadors. And yeah. It's off to... TSW6 is definitely off to a rocky start. For one thing, they seem to have pushed completely wrong earlier builds of TSW6 for people on Xbox and PlayStation, if I remember correctly, and basically causing a huge amount of textures to be wrongly loaded in, and basically making sure a lot of people couldn't get past their loading screens, and if they did, it would just look completely bad, as a lot of textures just would not load it in. So, I don't really know how Dovetail managed to do that, considering they're a multi-million-dollar company, and surely it wouldn't cost too much just to keep a bunch of up-to-date builds for all platforms. Surely that would be one of the least of their worries. But anyway, yeah. For me, I know there's been a few bugs with a lot of the core routes, which to their credit, Dovetail have identified a lot of the bugs and are actively working to fix them, which is quite good, I'll be honest. But I just really hope they can get the bugs sorted out. I'm not going to get the core TSW6 routes. If I was, I would have pre-ordered Deluxe Edition, and I'd be making content on the Riviera line right now for you all to enjoy by making content on Peterborough to Doncaster right now because, well, I'm going to get the free starter pack instead. And my reasoning is, why get the free starter pack? I mean, sorry, Deluxe Edition if I'm only going to get one core route and one locomotive and one deluxe locomotive. My goodness, that's like a 3-second long stutter. What the heck? I've never had that before. Anyway, apologies for that, viewers. 10 miles to Grantham, which is, I believe you can actually drive East Midlands train services going from Peterborough to Grantham in the slow line off to our left and right that you can see. Anyway, I'm deviating away from my main point here, which is I will be getting the Riviera line and the Class 220. I think the Riviera line is actually one of the best looking core routes in a while. I think it looks really stupendous. They have absolutely nailed the Dawlish seawall and the Devon coast, and I think it looks absolutely superb. Another reason I'm getting it is because the 220, I've probably played a 220 the most, because I think the 220 is really, really good. And also, I think because the 220 is going to layer on a ton of routes, because it basically runs everywhere in the UK. It's going to run on the Great Western Express Remaster as AI out of Reading. It's going to run on Manchester Airport Commuter. It's going to run... There's a lot of routes it's going to run on. But none of which I can remember at the moment, but I remember reading in the release material that, it's also going to run as AI on the West Somerset Railway just past Norton Fitzwarren. So that's good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving the Class 220 a try for myself. And it's also going to run on Birmingham Cross City in Rivet Games' updated timetable for that route. Rivet deliberately left slots in that timetable for the 220. It's also going to run on All Aboard Studios' West Coast Mainline Birmingham New Street to Crewe route when that gets released. Are we catching up to a train, or is that just a side track thing? Oh, it's just a building. Haha. Okay, let's get some brakes going for the 115 limit. Yeah, the sounds with this mod are really nice. I do really like them. Tunnel. That's the 115 limit. Oh my goodness, it's dark. Cab light? Yeah, without cab light. I think because the tunnels on this route are pretty short. 4.5 miles to Grantham. I better keep an eye on that, because we are going quite quickly. This route actually does look pretty quickly if you ignore it. Sorry. This route actually looks quite pretty if you ignore the transparent trees issue. Also, going back to my point on the lack of rail scene on this route, I also forgot to mention the Lumo Class 803 and Hull Trains Class 802, which are also completely non-existent in TSW. Oh, man. Anyway. 3.3 miles to go. At 2 miles, I'll probably start keeping an eye on my speed. Yeah. Is this to York? Yeah, this is to York. This is a local stopper, put that in air quotes, as far as York. So yeah. Another reason I want to get the Riviera line is because there are so many timetable layers. It's insane. You've got Heritage Rail Tours, you've got Heritage stock at Paignton for the Heritage line there. You've got freight stuff with the 66 off of West Coast Mainline South. The Riviera line is actually the first British core route since TSW2 not to include a version of the Class 66. So that's great, because the Class 66 has been recycled far too much. Going back to my point about the Class 93, but yeah. Ooh, hello. That is an East Midlands Trains, Class 158, heading to Norwich. That is a layer off of the Midland Main Line by Skyhook Games. I do like driving the Sprinter in TSW. Very good unit. I forgot how slowly this thing slowed down. Never mind, it's actually doing quite well. $700 yards to go. We are actually quite early. 2.5 minutes. Fair play. Yeah. Yeah, I just think the Riviera line is a good route choice, and I think I'd have a lot of fun driving on it. It's my kind of route. And also, I just can't ignore how many routes the Class 220 layers onto. Like, it's basically a staple everywhere on the British rail network, everywhere from Penzance to Aberdeen. So, I think there's a Penzance to Aberdeen service that cross-country either does do or used to do. Might even see Flying Scotsman on today's run if we're lucky. Full stop. There's another 801 coming in there, which is the Leeds to King's Cross. So, Leeds to King's Cross, yeah, that would be Hull Trains, I think? Yeah. One layer on this route, which actually is not here, is the... Oh, goodness. Come on, mouse wheel. Is the cross-country Class 170 off of Birmingham Cross City should layer onto this route, like it does in real life, but it doesn't. Where's the vigilance? There it is. Isolate that. So yeah, here we go. Welcome to Grantham, everybody. Credit where credit is due. The Class 801 does look really good. I do really like that Azuma livery. I think it's... But I do prefer the GWR livery on this unit. I'll be honest. I've actually yeah, as I said before, I've ridden on an LNER Class 800. And... honestly, these seats are reasonably comfortable by modern standards. Mind you, that's by modern standards. A lot of modern seats are far less comfortable than their older counterparts due to regulations. You just can't really, it seems, make a comfortable seat and also have a you just can't make a comfortable seat and have it fire retardant at the same time. So, yeah, I'm specifically looking at one Siemens Desiro City unit that is a major culprit in uncomfortable seating. Cough, cough, Class 800. I've tried out the Class 800 seat. Oh my heavens, they're uncomfortable. Holy moly. Yeah. Oh, I should have put the DRA on, and that would have... No. That would have negated the use for the need for vigilance, I should say. Yeah. Yeah, we've got a minute and a half left until we go off to Newark Northgate, which should take 10 minutes. Neat. Yeah, 10 minutes to go from here to here. Yeah. This is actually, back when this was released, this is actually the second longest... Ooh, I actually like that look. Hang on. If I get the field of view just right. This is actually the second longest route in the entire game ever made. Because it was... Yeah, I think it was the second longest after Kassel to Würzburg, but then Preston to Carlisle just simply blew it out of the water, and I do believe Leipzig to Dresden is now the second longest? It might be the longest. Leipzig to Dresden might be the second longest. In terms of total route coverage, I think Leipzig to Dresden is the longest, with Kassel Würzburg second, and then Preston to Carlisle in third. Yeah. One thing I am looking forward to with TSW6 route is the trying to remember what it is. The train announcements, because I've heard them and they actually sound pretty good, surprisingly. And it also means that third-party developers making TSW6 add-ons will then have a will then be able to produce stupendous announcements of their own, like with Union Workshop's Tadami line. Off we go. So yeah, I do love the sounds with this sound pack by Itzia165. Again, shout out to him. He has his own YouTube channel. Go subscribe. And this sounds very close to hearing real IETs take off in real life. There goes the line to... Well, I don't know where that line goes. It's where the AI Class 158 goes after leaving Grantham, and I do not remember where it goes for the life of me. Also, if I forgot to mention this before, I think I did. I am running on the full timetable that is provided. There is a reduced timetable for 8th generation consoles that is available with about 70-ish less services, which is annoying, but yeah, with 8th gen consoles, yeah. I could go off on a whole rant right now about how I just don't understand why TSW is still supporting 8th gen consoles, because there's, other than money, other than dovetail profits, there's literally no reason for them to continue support for 8th gen consoles. And it's quite frankly absurd at this point how hamstrung 8th generation add-ons are compared to 9th gen. And don't even get me started on the whole Frankfurt S-Bahn debacle, where 9th gen console players can't even experience the full timetable, and the only people who can experience the full timetable are people on PC, which is who are, let's face it, in the minority. I've heard somewhere, I can't verify the accuracy of this, I've heard somewhere that about 80% of all people who play TSW are on consoles. And yeah, like having only the reduced timetable for people on consoles on Frankfurt S-Bahn is absurd. I know yeah. Whoa, easy. Yeah. 10 miles to Newark. Oh, fun fact. Here's the one fun fact I know about Grantham. Here you go. It is actually the birthplace of everyone's favourite UK Prime Minister, Mrs. Margaret Thatcher, but I'm not going to go off on a whole political rant right now. This is a train channel, and I'm keeping it train related, alright? I was just saying, that's literally the one fun fact I know about Grantham. And it's not really a fun fact, it's just more of a fact, but yeah, anyway. Where was I? Yeah. 8th generation consoles are so hamstrung, it's hilarious. Like, for example, with the Riviera line add-on, 8th generation people won't even be able to experience the full timetable. Well, no. What I meant to say is they'll only have the 802, 150, and 220 available to drive, and even then they won't have the full timetables available for all three of those trains. The only thing that they will have for a full release, the only full release that the 8th gen guys are getting is the scenery, and that's it. And even then, you're limited to 30 FPS, I think? I might be wrong there. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but Yeah, it doesn't even look as good graphically as people who are on 9th gen consoles, and quite frankly, it is so sad how hamstrung 8th generation consoles are. Yeah, and I know I'm going to raise the ire of a lot of people in the comments are going to say, we can't afford it. Why are you suggesting that we do that? But I'm going to say it anyway. 8th generation, there shouldn't really be any 8th generation console people around, left around anymore. They should have all transferred to 9th generation consoles by now, and if they haven't, they need to. Because 8th generation consoles are so hamstrung compared to 9th generation consoles, and we've had 9th generation consoles around for so many years now. Like 5 years we've had 9th generation consoles now. It's not funny. And we're getting more stuff to play on, and the people who are on console are getting more stuff to play on consoles. Like for example, the people on PlayStation 5 will soon be able to get their hands on Microsoft Flight Simulator, the 2024 version. Oh my goodness, another 2-second stutter. What is going on? Anyway, the 9th generation people are getting more and more content with which to play with, and the 8th generation guys are just falling further and further behind, and they're getting less and less content to be able to play with. My increased throttle button wasn't working, so I had to pause the game. I think it was during that stutter that broke it. Anyway, double yellow, full brakes. Oh, never mind. Get below 100. Don't know what's going on. Yeah. I do feel sorry, and a lot of people are going to get really angry at me for saying you should upgrade to 9th gen. They'll say something along the lines of, we don't have the money to upgrade to a 9th gen console. And yeah, if you're in that position, if you're stuck on an 8th gen console and you don't have the money to upgrade, then I feel really, really sorry for you. Genuinely. That is, as a gamer, that is one of the worst positions to be in. You have really out-of-date hardware, and you can't upgrade it without. And yeah, if you are in that position, then I send over my sympathies, but sorry, I can't send money. I'm pretty much flat broke myself, and I can't. I wish I could upgrade my computer. Don't really have the money for it. And plus, if I got a desktop computer, I wouldn't be able to take it on my travels. The only reason I've been able to consistently make content over the past 2 years, yes, it's 2 years I've had this channel at this point, is because, oh, hello. The guy parked off at the siding off to the right there. Only reason I've been able to make content over the past 2 years is because I've been able to take my computer with me on my travels because it's a laptop. But yeah, I've basically made my setup as mobile as possible, and we are going to overshoot this. Stop! Oh my goodness! All right, that's emergency brakes authorized. Ah! No! 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 Stop! 66 yards. Are you kidding me? We did get here early though. We're got 5 minutes here, so just quickly let me ooh, hello. EMT 158 over there. Neat, nice. Probably AI only. Shut all the doors outside of the platform. I believe that won't be an issue with TSW6. I believe you can. The doors will not open if you're outside the platform, which is this feature that's been in not TSW, Train Sim Classic for years, but hey, Let's go explore a bit. DRA on. Yeah, I believe the DRA negates the necessity to reset the vigilance, but I could be wrong. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to climb over those in real life. Those would have... Yeah, those would be pretty uncomfortable to climb over. At least we get to explore the station bit. And that's one good thing about this route. The station modeling is actually really, really good with this route. A diorama of people having coffee. Ooh. LNER water refill point. Nice. Downstairs shopping. I like how they have the unlicensed stuff. Oh, hello. I didn't know you were animated. Dovetail air conditioning. Lol. Oh. Ooh. Oh my goodness, it's one of those creepy cats from off of Birmingham Cross City. Oh. Are these supposed to be that blurry? No, I think it's just the rendering. Oh, I hate those guys so much. No offense against cats, but oh my goodness. Those cats in TSW are ugly. And they're really rendered creepily. Oh, hello. Newspapers. Where are you going? Lincoln. Okay, neat. I like Lincoln. I've never been there, but I've heard about it. And for... I thought I couldn't hear the engine. You can hear the engine, just barely. I don't know if OBS is picking that up, though. Yeah, I think... I know a lot of people have actually stopped playing Train Sim... Well, due to issues like that, like NPCs walking through walls. But I believe I'm going to be playing TSW for quite a bit longer because A, the third-party scene is popping off. Vector simulations are absolute with their Czech route, Union Workshop with the Tatami line, All Aboard Studios with their British stuff, Just Trains with their retro British stuff. What else? Grunt Dog Games with their remasters. Ooh, there's another train going by. So yeah, I believe that there is... I am going to be keeping on playing TSW as my main game for the foreseeable future, but I can see why a lot of people have quit playing this game. Due to the sheer amount of bugs and issues that oftentimes Dovetail doesn't really fix. For instance, have they fixed this... Okay, they did fix the bug with the passenger information screen on the Class 801. That's good. Because there was a bug for absolute ages where those screens were simply non-functional. Alright. Alright. Yeah. This screen is interesting. Don't really know why it's there, but yeah. It has a lot more functionality in real life than it does in game. Next stop, Retford in 17 miles. And just up here, what is the most overhyped route feature in TSW history. Up here is the only flat railway crossing left in the UK. However, Dovetail hyped it up so much it basically became the main route feature. And I believe that was the lowest point. I believe TSW4 was the lowest point in TSW's history. Yes, we had Just Trains as Blackpool branches, but Dovetail promised dynamic suspension as a core feature right from the get-go. And yet they said, no, we're not... They just said, no, we're not going to release dynamic suspension as a core feature until almost the end of the TSW4 era, just before the release of TSW5, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And then all three of the TSW4 core routes each sucked in their own way. S-Bahn Vorarlberg sucked with the trackside scenery. Peterborough to Doncaster sucked because it was the wrong section of the East Coast Main Line and the lack of a varied rail scene. And then the Antelope Valley Line, I believe, was the worst US route in the entirety of this entire game, because not only did it lack a bunch of necessary Metrolink rolling stock that we only got later in the TSW5 era, it's also literally the most boring route in the entire game. It literally takes like 2 hours to complete a full run. And yet it has some pretty meh scenery, and it's just a terrible route choice. TSW5 was slightly better because West Coast Main Line South, now that it's had some updates, is actually a pretty dang decent route. And I'd stake my reputation as my YouTube career on that. Well, figuratively speaking. I'm just using it as a figure of speech. I wouldn't literally stake my YouTube career on that. West Coast Main Line South, yeah, pretty decent. Still missing quite a few London Overground and Underground services at the time of recording, unless you have one of the two mod timetables that modders have graced us with, either the On Track Simulation 2019 timetable or the 2024 mod timetable. There is an official timetable update coming with All Aboard Studios Class 805 add-on, which is going to have something like 3,000 services in total, which is mind-bogglingly huge. We haven't gotten any pictures of the Class 805 yet, but if we could have like a Class 805, I believe All Aboard said that they got real-life recordings for the sounds for it, which is pretty cool. If we could get proper sounds for the Class 805, which I believe we are getting, that'd be pretty cool, because, yeah, but, what would really be nice is if we could have a section of the North Wales coastline, like, say, I don't know, Holyhead to Crewe. That's over 100 miles now. I'll actually cut that back to Llandudno, with the short... to Llandudno Junction with the short branch line up to Llandudno itself. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Crewe to Llandudno Junction with the short branch to Llandudno with appropriate transport for Wales and Avanti rolling stock would actually be pretty cool. Set in the modern day, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But, yeah. Where was I? I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. The Class 805 is going to add is going to come with its own timetable for the West Coast Main Line South that adds like 3,000 total services. I don't know how they're going to do that with console out of memory issues, even on 9th gen consoles, but we'll see. I'll probably play West Coast Main Line South a lot more with the Class 805 running around. Kinzigtauban, decent rolling stock variety, but still has quite a few issues in terms of lagging and crashes. I don't really play Kinzigtauban, even though it has a Expert 101 timetable, because it is much laggier than other TSW core routes, and it still hasn't been fixed, which I'm still really annoyed about, because Kinzigtauban actually has quite a bit of potential. And then the San Bernardino line. It's a bit of a boring route, but it is a much better route choice than the Antelope Valley line, that's for sure. And it also has much more varied Metrolink rolling stock if you have the Metrolink F59 PHI, which I don't, because I don't really play those routes. But if you have the Metrolink F59 PHI, you basically have every single method of Metrolink rolling stock that they have. You have the F125, MP36PH, F59, and the Rotom Cab Car Rotom coaches and bi-level coaches, which is basically every single method of rolling stock that Metrolink has in real life, which is pretty cool. And everything everything substitutes, which is also pretty neat. Where was I? TSW6 core roots. I personally think it's a lot better than... I think it's the three best... Two of the three are the best core roots we've had in a while. The US content has often gotten shafted in comparison to the British or German content, but now it seems it's the German content that's getting shafted. The Riviera line, I've already talked about it in this video. It's the only one of the three that I'm going to get, and I think it looks pretty dang good, despite its myriad of flaws. There's also the what was it? I'm trying to remember what I was trying to say. The Morristown line with the NJT RO3, ALP45DP from Deluxe, and ALP46, which makes its return from New York Trenton, but has been improved. I think the Morristown line is also a pretty dang good choice. Because especially with the Arrow 3, that is one of the most requested American methods of motive power, and we finally get it in TSW, which is great. And apparently I'm no US train expert, but from what I've seen, the Morristown line looks pretty dang good. The only one of the three, which I think is an absolute disaster, is Leipzig to Dresden. Oh my goodness, I could go on a rant about this, and it goes on for ages. Anyway, the reason I think this is a terrible route choice is because it basically shafts people who already have Nahverker Dresden, which is because Dresden to Leipzig already has the Dresden to Riesa section that we already have at the Nahverker Dresden route, which is... And then the people who have Nahverker Dresden already don't even get a discount to upgrade to Leipzig to Dresden, which is just bananas on every level. It's ridiculous. Like, why? I think it is complete lunacy to not give the Nahverker Dresden people even just a discount. Preferably, they should have given the Nahverker Dresden people a free upgrade. But no, that didn't happen. They're making the Nahverker Dresden owners pay full price while they already have half of the route, which is ridiculous. Yeah, you can tell I'm pretty miffed about this issue. Where was I? Yeah, and also Leipzig to Dresden is also pretty buggy from what we've seen. It is a pretty dang buggy route from what I've seen. So I'll just smugly stick with Nahverker Dresden. And I will never get Leipzig to Dresden unless they offer it for free or close to free. If they do like a 90% off, which they have done, if they do a 90% off, I maybe will pick it up. But other than that, no. Yeah. What I'm most looking forward to in TSW is the third-party content, because the third-party content scene is absolutely popping off. Yeah, slow down for this 40 section. There we go. Yeah, like the Czech route from Vector Simulations, Tadami line from Uni Workshop, which is one that I'm personally most looking forward to. What else? What else am I thinking? The Class 805 from All Aboard Studios, the Great Western Express Remastered GWR HST Farewell Pack from Grump Dog, It all looks absolutely second to none. And I am so happy that TSW released a public editor 2 years ago, basically today, and as of recording this video, and we're finally seeing the fruits of that public editor release. People who've been working on their content for 2 years finally get to release that into the public domain, and I'm here for it. Like, man, I'm excited for a lot of the third-party stuff. I don't really believe most of Dovetail's stuff is worth a damn anymore. Quite frankly, a lot of Dovetail's stuff is simply rehashes. The only 2 Dovetail routes which I can think of, which I want to get, are Zwolle to Groningen, which is the only Dutch route in the game, as far as I'm aware. Get out of the way, NPCs! And, what is it? I'm trying to remember. And the Riviera line. Those are the only 2 I want to get. Is that Did they put Francis Bourgeois in here? I swear that's him. What? I have so many questions. What is he doing here? Someone let me know down in the comments. What is he doing here in TSW? That is hilarious. Yeah. Right. I really like the station modeling on this route. But, yeah. I think Preston to Carlisle, though, is the best UK high-speed route. They Just Trains took the formula that was put into this route and really turned it up to 11. Is there anything else in Retford which I would find interesting? Is there... Wait a minute, there are lower level platforms. Can I get to those? I've got the time. I could go have a look. I'm actually so early today that it's not funny. Well, it is funny, but yeah. Oh, that's the lift. What if I go down the stairs? There are some lower level Retford platforms. No. Stairs to exit platforms 1, 3, and 4. Okay. Can I go? Stairs to exit and platforms. Okay. Let's just follow the signage here. Let's see. Can't go that way. Is that the way to platforms 1, 3, and 4? No, it's this way. So how would I get... Oh, I think it's this way. Sorry, I'm just trying to navigate my way. What's the next train? King's Cross 139. Oh my goodness, that's almost an hour. Yeah. Is it this way? Yes! Hang on. Is the Invisible Walls mod coming in clutch? I can always use Control-0 to get back quickly if I need to. I think I have the time. So, this way is platform 4. Yes! Look at this! There's a whole lower level section. Is this... Check the map. Are there any services that stop here? No. Is this Northern in real life? Is this like Northern branded or something? I don't know. See if there are any sneaky collectibles down here that Dovetail snuck in. Okay, I've got some time. I've got just over 3 minutes before my train has to go. They modeled all of this. Fair play, developers. Wonder what this line is. Someone in the comments, please let me know what this line is. Because I don't really know. Oh my goodness, those transparent trees! They're so immersion breaking. That's why I don't play this route too often. The transparent trees just break the immersion. TSW4 is actually the only core one where I bought Deluxe Edition pre-order. But, yeah. No, I don't want to give up control, obviously. Okay, is there anything? Oh, it's one of those creepy cats! Oh, goodness, this one's even worse. Ugh. My goodness, that thing looks terrible. That actually looks like my aunt's cat. Somewhat. Like, the pattern looks somewhat similar, but... Holy moly, that thing looks absolutely just creepy as heck. You could stick that in a horror film and people would be like, in a horror video game, I mean, and people would be like, yeah, that looks totally accurate. I know I'm being a bit facetious, but yeah, that thing... a lot of game... But a lot... Even modern AAA full fidelity games still struggle with facial animations and like animations of humans in general. And that cat there is a just perfect example of that. So I'm not gonna hate on the developers too much because, to be quite honest, no, there is basically no way with today's technology in order to nail those kinds of animations. Let's go down. I'm still so confused about why Francis Bourgeois is here, and where have all the NPCs gone? Did they all board my train? Yeah, they probably did. One of the things about TSW5 is it's supposed to improve NPC pathfinding from platform to inside of train. I don't know how that works. I haven't seen it in action. I might be wrong. So yeah. Oh, that actually worked out quite well. We actually have about 45 seconds and vigilance is on. We haven't had it go off since we've had the DRA on. Yeah, I didn't realize that whole lower section at Retford was modeled. Like, fair play developers. I do like doing a all stops run on Peterborough to Doncaster from time to time. There are runs where you could do like Peterborough to Doncaster non-stop, but I don't really do that because, quite frankly, it's just boring. Power! Next and final stop, Doncaster in 16 miles. And zoom out, come on. If we go up to Doncaster, is Flying Scotsman there? No, I don't think so. Yeah, there is quite a lot of stock in the yard, to be fair. But yeah, it's not like custom stock, it's all stock that we already have. I do like how the 801 got dynamic suspension. I know it wasn't like something included at the start, but I'm glad when dynamic suspension eventually got added as a core feature, I am glad that it works reasonably well. I haven't heard any complaints about it. I think there's only one train where the dynamic suspension doesn't look realistic, and that's the Class 378 on the Mild May line, North London line, whatever you want to call it. The dynamic suspension on Incredible Trains' Mild May line looks, quite frankly, overdone, and it bounces way too much. Alright, 70 miles an hour. We have 11.5 minutes to do 15 miles. So let's go as fast as we can. To be fair though, Peterborough to Doncaster, despite its flaws, runs very well on my computer. One add-on that hasn't been announced yet, I hope, is for Preston to Crew. There is speculation running around. No, nothing's been confirmed yet. Nothing's even been leaked yet. To the effect that, whoa, did that building? I'm going to have to go back and look at this footage. Did this building just grow in size as I got close to it? What? Did you see that? Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, for the Preston to Crewe route by Just Trains, there is speculation running around to the effect that the Loco DLC for that route will be the advanced passenger train prototype, which, if we had that in TSW, by Just Trains no less, that'd be absolutely stupendous, because the APT was running on Preston Crew and Preston Carlisle in real life in 1986, the year in which both routes are set, I think. So, if we could have an APT, I love the APT. I think it is a massive shame that the whole project got binned. But I would love to see that in TSW, because that is one of my all-time favorite British trains, and being able to run that in TSW would be absolutely superb. Even if we don't get it by Just Trains, All Aboard Studios will have to model a static version of it for Crewe Station, because there is one currently parked at a train museum just outside of Crewe. But so we know we're at least getting a static one. I mean, who knows, we might even get a drivable version. I'm holding out hope that we get it. I know for certain that Tintin 57 is holding out hope that we get it. I would love to see that. I would run that on the East Coast, even though it's a West Coast mainline train. I would run that on this route just for the heck of it, because yeah, the APT is one of the coolest British trains ever made. And yeah, I do have an 110 limit coming up, which is interesting. Shut the power off. I do like how we're getting that into autumn now in TSW. For those who don't know, I played a game set to the real life day, so it's September 25th, the day I'm recording this, and yeah, we're finally started getting into autumnal colours in TSW, which is nice. That does mean we'll be getting into winter soon, which is insane, considering, like, only 2 weeks ago I was suffering in temperatures of 34 degrees Celsius. But, yeah, anyway. To sum up my thoughts about, my rather incoherent and rambling thoughts about TSW, I am looking forward to see what the future of the game will bring. I am. One of the scenarios on the Riviera line includes a dispatching scenario, which would be absolutely awesome, since the only game that really allows you to handle dispatching is SimRail, the Polish railway simulator, which also has multiplayer. If we could get dispatching multiplayer and a major overhaul for conductor mode, then we'd have all the core features that I would ever want. But yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get multiplayer, if I'm being honest, because seeing as we core features just seem to be trickling in gradually with each new version of TSW. Seem to be getting a few sprinkles of core features in every single update for every single core release for TSW. I don't think we're ever going to be getting multiplayer, because the developmental time and resources required for that would just outweigh the benefits plus I don't really know how it would be implemented. Oh, 80 miles, nice. 5.5 miles to Doncaster. But I think what's really going to carry the future of TSW is the third-party add-ons. I don't think most of Dovetail and Rivet stuff is going to be worth it. I personally think, like, mind you, there are some exceptions to that rule, like Dovetail's Vola to Groningen or Riviera line, and Rivet's 5 Circle line, or West Midlands Rail and Cross Country Class 170 pack for Birmingham Cross City. Ironically, both of those those add-ons main trains are Class 170s. So, yeah, how this should be construed. I should probably emphasize that this isn't construed as an attack against the Dovetail developers themselves or the Rivet developers themselves, because, quite frankly, they're all of them are really nice people in real life. It's just that Dovetail and Rivet don't seem to be tolerant of criticism toward their add-ons, constructive criticism toward their add-ons, and also they don't seem to be bug fixing their add-ons, which is lunacy. Like why shouldn't you? Oh my goodness, I'm lagging. How many FPS? 22. Lovely. We do have quite a bit of stock in Doncaster Yard. It's just that it's lagging my game. Okay, there we go. Now there's... yeah. Another thing that's pretty cool is the Hitachi Depot south of Doncaster is actually fully modelled on the inside, which is pretty cool. However, you can't fast travel to it using the map, which is very annoying. Especially, so you have to go there by spawning in a train, which is very annoying, which is why I don't go there too often. Yeah, we do have a red signal just before Doncaster Rooney. Probably had the map zoomed in, that's why it got so laggy. There aren't any trains in the way, and yet you're still saying there's a red signal ahead. What? Why? I'll go down to 35. That's the limit coming into Doncaster. Oh! The TPWS! Ugh. Train stop override. Brake release. For goodness sake! Bloody TPWS. Hang on, how do I... Versa 2 off. Brake release. Okay, there we go. That's the first time I've really had... TPWS and AWS operational. That's the first time I've really had the TPWS really having a good go at me. Hello? You're supposed to be moving. Why aren't the brake... Okay, I'll just put them to emergency. Yeah, the brakes aren't releasing. What? It's supposed to... Put it to neutral. Does that do anything? No. Of course it doesn't. Why? Hang on. Why aren't you moving? If I... Is there another button on the overspeed? AWS. Just press all the buttons until something works. Power, please. Pantograph is up. We are drawing power, yet we're not moving. Why? Hit the emergency brake button. This thing just balked. Has the TPWS just balked my train? I really hope not. We've got line voltage, and we've got the circuit breaker closed. We're supposed to be moving, and we're not. Why are we not moving? Next station stop is not York. And it's not Northallerton either. Stupid screen. Am I going to have to walk to Doncaster? Because this is ridiculous. Hang on. I'll temporarily isolate the system. TPWS isolated. Hang on. I'll temporarily isolate the AWS. Yeah, we're going to be late. That's so annoying. We had such a good run. Is there an AWS only on isolation? No. Please tell me we can move now. Yes! Okay. Just had to go and isolate that. Oh. There we go. Yeah, it's the TPWS that's saying, nope, you can't move. Yeah, and we're late. Thank you, game. Or rather, thank you, TPWS. For balking my train so much that we weren't even... We were just 800 yards from Doncaster. Ugh. So annoying. Go up to 35. It's the limit coming into Doncaster. Yeah. The reason my game's slowing down so much is because there is a ton of static stock near Doncaster, which is realistic to have a lot of static stock there. It's just... yeah. Can confirm, having seen it in real life. Wish we could have it at Class 91, man. It's been 2 years of us having an East Coast mainline route, and yet no Class 91. Yeah, we're a minute and a half late. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute, what's that? Hello, Class 323. I didn't know you could show up. What livery is that? Surely not West Midlands Rail. Surely it's Northern. Yeah, it's Northern off of Glossop. Yeah, almost 2 minutes late. Thanks. Cheers, game. Cheers. Oh my goodness. What is that racket? Oh my goodness, it's a ton of 47s. Wait, there's a GWR 166, there's a 43, there's a Southeastern 465 for some reason. What? That means the 465 appeared in 2 straight videos. I'll do the DRA. Oh, there we go. Platinum medal. Yeah. We did get a lot of points for using the safety systems and distance driven, but yeah. I'm still so annoyed about the TPWS causing havoc just before Doncaster. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Yeah, I'll probably be producing a few more TSW videos before TSW6 proper full release comes out. So yeah, stay tuned for those, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.